Hi, we're two dudes, 5 feet. I'm Dakota,
And I'm Jacob.
and today it's just us.
Yeah.
Um, so our video might be a bit shorter, might be a bit longer. We really don't know. But as you can see in front of us,
A good topic.
a great topic, a game most of you probably know. Even if you haven't played it, you've probably heard of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's super
Assassin's
popular.
Creed.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's
It
one
is-
of my
It
favorites.
has been one of the biggest
Fantastic.
of at the beginning of when the first Assassin's Creed game, that has been a big pushing factor for what games have leaned towards.
Yeah. Like any story-driven single-player stuff, it really defined it as a genre in the new age of what games could do
Yeah.
and what they were doing
It,
at the
it,
time.
it opened
for
up
sure.
for people like, oh my gosh, we can do this with games, so we'll work with that.
Oh, yeah.
One thing ahead of time, Valhalla isn't on this list. We will discuss it at the end, and with what we know, and we'll decide kind of where it goes verbally.
Yeah.
So
We-
there won't be an actual placement of it.
Oh yeah. It's again, it's a tier maker. You know, we work with what we get.
Yeah.
So we'll add it at the end for sure, and talk about it. We did organize it so that there, as far as our memory is correct,
Release
release order. If we got it wrong,
Well, we get it.
leave it in the comments.
It's exactly. leave it in the comments. If you
Leave it in
think,
the comments.
If you think at any point our rating is wrong, and I don't know, Assassin's Creed 2 doesn't deserve to be higher on the list than where we put it,
Yeah.
or lower on the list than where we
Yeah.
put it,
Yeah.
leave it in the comments.
Yeah, leave it in the comments as usual.
We're going to discuss
We
our
love
thoughts and opinions on the Assassin's Creed games. So
Alright.
we'll jump right into it with the first one,
Assassin's
the
Creed.
titular title, Assassin's Creed, that began it all.
I think it was fantastic. I think for its time, it was right in there, right in the trenches, basically,
Yeah.
of all the games that were coming out around that time.
I didn't play it when it was coming out originally. I've played a bit of it within the last couple of years.
Gotcha.
I've played basically I never played the first one, and I've played a
All the ones
majority
after.
of the ones after it.
Wow. Okay.
So,
yeah. No.
but I know a lot about it
Yeah, it sets the world, it sets the tempo,
and the story.
Sets the story up
What-
for
what-
especially the first four.
Exactly. What I love
all
the
being
most.
one big arc kind of
Exactly.
thing.
One big arc, one main character
One main
outside
story.
of the Animus,
Yes.
which
Oh
is what, at least in earlier games, lets you become the assassin.
yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which honestly, I loved the idea of, all right, we're gonna lay you down on this table, we're gonna connect your mind to an ancestor of yours who happened to be some whack ass assassin who did some crazy ass shit. Yo, honestly, amazing, mind boggling.
Yeah, and then you find out that they're the bad guys.
Right?
Oh yeah, it was good. It was a good twist. If you did see it coming, like you still appreciate it.
Exactly.
Like they still executed it well.
They did well with their introducing the mechanics, the free run mechanic.
Oh yeah, free
Oh
run.
my gosh, the
and
parkour in those games.
the menu shortcut things that they do, stuff like that. The fighting.
Yeah.
The combat was pretty.
I never got to a point
Yeah.
where I could do combat in the first one, so I'm not sure where it sits at compared to later entries.
Yeah, the biggest mechanic-wise that was kind of different was how defensive you had to be. It was all built around parrying back
Yeah.
and reposing instead of like God of War and the games that
Yeah.
came before it with similar camera work being hack and slash.
Which I think for the most part, the game genre keeps that for a majority of its
Oh, yeah,
earlier titles.
Oh yeah. It keeps that same kind of fighting style for all of the earlier stuff for
Yeah.
sure.
So,
I would put this at B at its lowest.
Okay.
I think it deserves A, personally, but I wouldn't go lower than B.
I don't have as much experience with it. I know it was the opening gate, and obviously it would have had to have done well for them to continue
In
with
the way that they have.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm okay with A and B. Wherever you think it should go, I believe it should go as well.
I think it deserves A.
Okay.
I think I'm always a person that respects the ones that came before, and
Yes.
especially with like games or art
The
or
first,
content.
the original is always there.
A good one.
Yes.
It always does. It deserves a merit for being the first.
Yes.
I think for anything, it should get that. The second one, Assassin's Creed 2.
2. Honestly, this is my favorite.
That's your personal
This
favorite
is my
out of all of them?
favorite. Yeah,
That's valid.
This
That's
is the
valid.
one I've played the most of, and I'm actually playing right now.
Okay.
So
It is really good. I think they realized that they were experimenting with the first one, and with how well it did, I think they realized what they captured in the first one.
did one
and
not
tweaked it to
have
make it
as
better.
much open world as 2 did?
No, it was still pretty open world, but I believe the first one it had split campaign almost, where missions would jump from when you're an assassin, and then there would be missions where you would be out of the Animus walking around.
Yeah, which 2
as
does that as
yourself.
well.
And 2 does it as well. Yeah, I know. Especially in the first 4, I think it's an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
As far as like keeping the split because it's following that same character. Kind of unraveling all the mystery and stuff.
Yeah, because I love 2. The way they did everything, even the graphics for the time.
Oh yeah,
were
fantastic.
I think this is one of the first games where I spent my time 100%ing the game.
Yes, and enjoying it.
I think
enjoying it wasn't a grind.
without internet access. I think the only thing I didn't do were the damn feathers.
The feathers.
I literally think I did everything but those.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's valid.
I ran through all the temples to get the cool ass final armor that you can get.
Oh yeah.
The like legendary assassin's armor.
The visual, like you said, graphics. I think the visual design of everything in the game was executed.
I love
really
the setting too.
Yes, setting,
At
fantastic.
Florence, Italy,
So good. So
going to
good. So
Rome, going to Venice,
good. Venice, baby.
they
Oh, yeah.
did phenomenal.
Oh yeah. Honestly, it was really good.
Yeah.
I would put it up in A. I would be totally fine with that. I think they tweaked in certain spots mechanically and they did it right. I think that this is a proper good sequel to video games.
Exactly.
Which I think, parallelizing video games to movies, I think they're opposites when it comes to chaining usually. Usually the sequel of a movie franchise is worse.
Yes.
While for games, more often than not, the sequel's a little bit better because they're learning from the first
Exactly.
mistakes.
I think people in video game industry get a lot more feedback versus the movie industry.
Exactly.
I was going to suggest S, but that's because it's my favorite of the whole lineup we have, and
That's
the amount
valid.
of time I've sunk into it, and I enjoy it.
That
Obviously, I'm okay with it being A.
That's valid. I would be okay with S. I think we're not aiming for a single one true S winner here, so I'm totally fine with putting it in S.
Okay.
I think it does.
It deserves.
It does what
It worked. It worked to get there.
Yes, exactly. They executed fantastically.
Yeah.
Next, Brotherhood.
Yeah, I didn't play much of it. I played a little bit of
This
it.
is when they first bring into light truly the vastness of the assassins in the game.
Yes.
That it is truly a huge network.
Exactly, because all of these last 2 games have just built onto the
one
world, the
character,
story,
the world, yeah.
and just the overarching, this apple of Eden, this mysterious piece of
Oh, yeah.
Lord only knows what,
Yes.
of mystical power, whatever they say.
It's definitely a lot of world setup and some cool plot and story. This is where it kind of opens up.
Yeah, because
more.
I know about this one.
They do a lot
because-
more lateral writing.
Yeah,
in
one of
this
my friends has played. This
Which
is
I
his
enjoy.
favorite.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You get to
I totally
hire a
understand
group of assassins to go with you and have your own like team of assassins.
Your own posse. Oh.
Exactly. That's what I know about it. Which I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Which I've never played it, so
Yeah.
my first gut instinct is, oh, you're running around with multiple people instead of just yourself. Running through doing all that fun parkour
Yeah.
stuff. I would think it would get busy with the amount of things you see on screen then, 7 guys running up on a rooftop, in that whole...
Well, I will say, as far as having other assassins and hiring them, they are literally just other AI dudes.
Yeah.
So they work exactly like other guys. It's just they're on your team.
Yeah.
So it's very similar to like in the first one and the second one when you pay off some goons.
Yes.
And the goons follow you around. It's more like that.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
they made these bigger promises of like, oh, they're gonna be like up there with you, and they are. It's like they're a little bit better, like their AI is a little bit stronger, but ultimately they're still just. It's not like you're it's not like you're implementing actual strategy and
Yes.
giving them orders.
Yes, that I
they're
was
just
aware
there
of.
to help.
Yeah.
In like a big fight. So you would just do that to cash in if you're gonna siege like a fort.
Yeah.
Because they'll keep all the busy guys, and you'll have better numbers to
Exactly.
situationally
Okay.
get around. So, but what Brotherhood first really did,
Okay.
multiplayer in the franchise.
Did it have multiplayer?
Yes, it had matchmaking
I
where
think I remember hearing about
where it would be like 5 assassins on a map, and it's a big crowded market, and each person has one person to go after, and they know that they are also being hunted, but they
Yeah.
don't know who is hunting them, and they only know their target.
Yeah.
So like it's this really cool cat and mouse game. I think honestly, when it happened and they were experimenting with that, a lot of people didn't like it or something, or they were really loud
Well,
negatively
I
about
think
it.
that's what happens when a single player game like this.
Yeah.
It's much similar to the Batman Arkham games, where
yeah.
the first 2 didn't have multiplayer at
Yeah.
all.
And then they
And then
experimented to try and add
third
it.
game, Origins, had a multiplayer
Option.
where you could matchmake, and you
Yeah.
know, 2 people would be Batman and Robin, and the rest would be like Deathstroke and his goons or something like that.
Yeah.
It's very similar to that, and I don't think when they first comes out, people are like, we want our game to be single player.
Yeah.
Stop doing this.
I think-
we appreciate the game for what it is.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have this fear when they do single player games, when they're single player, like story driven players
Yes.
of video games, when the devs incorporate multiplayer because they think that it's going to lose
Yeah.
the magic, which that's a valid concern because it's happened in the past.
Yes.
But honestly, I think it got the matchmaking, like the idea of it, I think they did really well. And I think if they continued with it more and worked on it instead of getting all that backlash or hate, whatever
Yeah.
happened, honestly,
Well,
I would have loved to see it,
I-
more of it, like, which I think that's what they tried to do later on.
I would say I know there's
with
one
some
of them
stuff,
later
realizing
on
it, but
that I played that had multiplayer.
that was mostly
and
multiplayer,
it was
yeah.
Black Flag or Unity is what I think it was, because I vaguely remember playing it. So it's one of those 2.
I think it was Unity.
Because I know
that
Unity
they tried
was,
again.
Unity was big with it, but I know Black Flag had a little bit. It was like its own little game mode in it,
Right, right.
which they tried in a majority of the games, which, you know, credit to.
I will say, out of almost, I will say, I'm giving it a personal point, Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Best fucking cinematic trailer
Oh, man.
for any of these fucking games. I don't care who you're talking to. I don't leave it in the comments. I will argue on this hill with you. Brotherhood has the best cinematic trailer for this franchise.
Yeah.
100%. It went so hard. The Tobuscus sing of it when he did all of that stuff, and he was really popular still. God, I probably watched just him doing that probably 50 times, like, in my life. It was more because of how good the trailer was.
Yeah.
It was so good. It was
I could,
clean.
I could believe it because they
Gave me chills
They always
every
did
time.
really well with their trailers.
Oh yeah. Again, the visual design of
Yeah,
it all.
exactly.
They execute really well. I think Brotherhood deserves A. I would put it under. I would put it above the original.
Okay.
But I would say
I'm okay with it going A. Like I said, I obviously don't know as much about it, but
A. Yeah.
I've heard it's like well received.
Oh yeah. It's.
And-
I think it's a fan favorite out of the original 4.
Yeah.
I think out of the original 4, most people are like Brotherhood's my favorite. Brotherhood's
Yeah,
my
I think
favorite.
that's like people's go-to is like that's my favorite.
And I think they just did a lot of things well
Yeah,
with it.
which you know, the original 4 games had the same overarching story.
Yeah, same
Which
characters.
I believe that at the end of Revelations, you no longer play as Desmond Miles.
Yes, that's the drop of the.
Because I think at the
character.
beginning of 3, there's a cut, like the very opening of it is Desmond Miles dying.
Yes.
If I recall correctly, because I know I've started 3, and you no longer play as Desmond Miles.
Yeah.
Um,
Where they explore other people going
exactly.
into Animus.
I believe, obviously, I don't have much experience with Revelations. I've heard a lot about it.
I've played through it once, and it was years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago. I remember how it made me feel. It was a good one.
Exactly.
I think it was fine.
I imagined that as the ending of an arc
Yep.
of the 4 first games, where instead of like dragging, they're like, all right, we're gonna make another one after this for
Yep.
sure. It sold well. They didn't continue with Desmond. They're like, we need to break it. So this ending ended Ezio. He clearly was old.
Yep.
So like, we can't make another game where we pull in the same character that people have loved. We are going to end him in this game.
Yep.
And we're gonna do it right.
And start and end it right, and then start off leaving
And
it
still-
open for new characters
Exactly,
to
and
continue
still
the franchise.
have a well-written story that they have
Yep.
had in all of the games so far.
Yeah, and honestly, developers, producers, whoever's idea it was to end the story naturally in the way that it should, like a well-written story should. Every story has an ending. It should never go on. Everyone knows when things drag on, they always get watered down. They always go bad.
Yes.
They go sour. Game of Thrones. Other things like that.
Leave it in the comments.
Yeah, we all know what happens when things go that
Exactly.
way. When a story goes that way, and I
They-
think
they
they
knew where they were at.
transitioned with the baton
Exactly.
of continuing
They knew where they were at
the franchise.
with this one releasing, I think. They're like, all right, everyone loved Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Everyone loved 2.
Yeah,
1 started it all. We're going to end this arc here.
yeah, yeah.
And I know the story writing was exceptionally well on it because the next 2 games
It was later.
followed
It
it.
was nice.
Followed it in the story. You still had in each game. You did not lose once what the main story was between any of the 4 of them. They were all the same.
Oh, yeah.
You knew what was going on outside of the world you were in.
Yes. I would argue below Brotherhood,
Below
but
Brotherhood?
above the first.
Okay.
That's
think,
what I would argue.
I think that fits. One of these days I'm going to around to playing them.
You need
I've
to,
got.
really
I
do.
own them.
Oh yeah.
But in order to get to them, I have to beat 2 first.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I can
go in
progress.
order,
No, that's what it is. Because I own the collection.
Oh.
So it's the Ezio collection. So it has
That's good.
2 Brotherhood and Revelations.
That's good that they
It's
did
just,
that.
I need
They
to,
knew what they were doing.
I need to beat 2 in order to. I can't skip.
Unlock. Yeah.
Exactly. I can't skip it.
Yeah.
Or else I would have
That's-
and played the others by now.
That's a good way to do it, though.
It
That's a
really
good way to
is.
do it.
Assassin's Creed 3.
Yes.
This one takes place in America.
Yep. During Revolution.
Exactly. Early America. Everything's going on.
A mechanic thing that we spoke on with Brotherhood. This is when they really added more to other assassins you can call in
Yes.
and help.
Because I remember there being in this one
You could actually
another
give them
assassin.
little orders.
Exactly. There was another assassin that I remember in this one that was like in a darker cloak than you.
Oh, yeah.
Because you play as Connor.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I do not remember while playing through this game or when I did play of it, ever going out of the Animus.
Yes, yeah. This one you don't really play in the real world.
Well, I
much
think
at
that's where it starts because I know in the later titles,
Yeah.
there is at least what I've played through in Odyssey and Syndicate. I have not once been out of the Animus.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think in the later titles we get out of the Animus.
See, I know with, let's see, I know definitively with, I know Black Flag because
Yeah.
I played that one the most.
Exactly.
And I believe in Unity, there's a little bit of gameplay out of the Animus,
Okay.
but not a lot.
Yeah. I think
But
this is
Black
where-
Flag, it tries to touch back with the originals,
Yeah,
where
I
it
was
goes
gonna
back
say,
and
yeah.
forth a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more time in the Animus
Yeah.
comparatively to outside.
Yeah, exactly. Because I know 3 is where it started to not touch on the ongoing.
The futuristic.
They're going the
and-
modern
yeah.
situation that the first 4 games have covered.
Yeah, exactly.
I know this is well received because
Oh, it's really
it's
good.
been remastered. It's been published on the Switch
Yeah.
as remastered.
There's a reason why they've remastered it a lot. It's because it's a really good one.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
I think I've played.
You play as a half Native American man,
Yeah.
and you get all the like Indian style of stuff. Oh, it's
I
so
think
cool.
I've played through half of this one.
So cool.
And
half of it.
I think the reason I didn't keep playing was either because another game had come out, or my copy that I had, because at the time it was like only disc copies.
Yeah.
It either got stolen or broken. I don't remember.
Ouch. Yeah,
So-
that's rough. That's rough. I remember getting this on like whatever Christmas that it was released,
Oh gosh.
and it was the one thing that I asked for.
Well,
at
I had
Christmas,
I
you
had
know?
gotten Assassin's Creed 2 for a Christmas game, I think, as well. So
Yeah, it was like the one thing that I asked for that year, really hard. Of course, my
Yes.
parents got it for me.
Because I
like,
think
oh,
the
yeah. It
Christmas
was
of
good.
because
It
I
was fun.
asked for one of them for Christmas. I don't remember which one, but it wasn't like available at the time, and so my grandma, God bless her heart, had gotten me Assassin's Creed 2 instead. I don't remember which game I asked for. So I played the fuck out of it,
Yeah,
and I thank her for getting that one instead of whatever one I was asking.
I mean, hey, a win's a win, man.
Exactly.
A win's a win.
Where do you want 3?
I would put it B
Okay.
because I mean it is good.
It's good, yeah. I know the assassin stuff in it is good.
I love that they explored more on the like adding assassins in that you can
Yes.
actually give and issue some commands.
I think
I wish they would have continued that a little
Yeah.
more. I wish they would have kept that in their games more. That would have
yeah,
been
exactly.
fun.
I think as we go forward, we're gonna stop seeing
Them
as much
experimenting with that.
and as much acknowledgement to the whole world as story,
Yeah.
Which-
It's definitely more central focus.
which I think is where this probably brings it to be is the lack of modern day era being affected by what took place in these games.
yeah, that's
Because that was a big part in the first
that's
one.
arguable, definitely.
That was a big part in the first 4, and you
Yeah, yeah.
expect playing those ones. All right, I'm playing this guy. I'm going into this digital world.
You realize kind of where you're going into
exactly,
it.
and you know what's happening because it takes you back and forth, and not just all right, we're throwing you into this. You don't know the guy you're playing as. You just know who you are in the Animus.
Yeah, that's valid.
Black
The
Flag.
next one.
Now, I'm gonna get off the bat. I wasn't a big fan of this for one reason. My brother hogged it all the time. Because
Okay.
at the time we shared an Xbox.
that's not
we
on the
shared
game,
a room.
though.
No. I know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at right now.
That's on your brother.
Exactly. he played it all the time. We shared the Xbox, shared the room. So
Yep. So you just had to sit there and watch him play it, basically.
exactly, and it was his game, so it's like I'm not gonna let you play it. So it
Yeah.
looked great. I loved the vibe of it. It's just watching him constantly play it and not letting me try.
Ruined it.
I was kind of I was like
It ruined it. It soiled it.
yeah. Which
Well,
I'm not saying it against the game, but that's just my personal
that's
opinion about
that's your
it. right now.
experience.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's totally valid.
But I mean,
If
it
someone
looks
did that to me with this game, I would have murdered my brother and played the game.
Yeah.
Because
It was a
by
great
God,
looking game.
by
Like,
God,
I
it is
love
fantastic.
I really
love this.
loved the feel of it.
This
Like,
is one where it truly open world.
yes, this is like
100%
all right, yeah,
open
you
world.
guys had open worlds in the last one, but ships.
We're gonna give you open world this one.
Exactly. There was so much stuff to do
Mm-hmm.
in this one.
Oh, hunting for
I think-
pelts,
I
man. Going to
think I
tiny
played-
little islands.
I think I might have at one point
Everything
played
had
like
something
the
on it.
first 2 hours.
Yeah, the 2 hours.
So I had gotten past the opening cutscene,
Yeah,
done my first mission, and was just
Yep.
kind of roaming around. I think.
yeah. No.
Which honestly,
It's-
I love the feel of it. The ships.
Oh, the ship
amazing.
combat. Oh, dude.
It was so
cool.
different.
So good.
It
yeah.
was so different
Oh, yeah.
compared to the other ones. Yeah, you were an assassin, but like, I think it walked away from the assassin a bit. Not a lot.
Well, I mean, I think it took a different twist, and they explored a different
Avenue.
protagonist
Yes. Okay.
style because canonically, the guy you're playing as is not an assassin.
Yes.
He killed an assassin and took his shit.
Exactly.
And then gets roped into all of this stuff via
Yes.
the contacts.
Exactly.
So,
Which
I
honestly,
think
I
is so
loved.
really
I
cool.
loved.
Yeah.
It
I
was-
think it gave it,
It was
a
cool,
fresh breath.
exactly. It was a cool concept, and I don't recall from when I played. Obviously, it might have leaving the Animus.
Yeah, I know what happens here and there, but in the real world, It still feels open world.
Yes.
You're walking around the way that you want. You have full control of your character the whole way through. And there's a lot of things to do. The reason why you don't see it too much of it is because there's only a few scenes in the story where you actually have to come out of the Animus.
Yeah, okay.
Everything else, it's an option.
Okay.
You can optionally leave the Animus, walk around the office because you're doing this as a job.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's like, it's a whole new style to it where it's like more in the future.
Yes.
And not more present day kind of thing. And it's, you're working for a company and it's just a bunch of animuses because they're recording your ancestor's life for an adventure to then replay that for other people and sell it.
Okay,
so not movies like Super VR where someone goes into your story.
Yeah, it's like Cyberpunk's oh gosh, I'm gonna forget the name now as soon as I mention it. Body Dance or whatever I think it's called, where
I think so, yeah.
you chip in and you experience it from the person's point of view.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that.
But it's not Abstergo, right?
No. Yes, yeah, it is.
It is?
Yeah.
That makes sense. I'm like, there's no way it's not Abstergo.
No, it 100%
has to be.
is.
Like, it has to be. I like that they kept Abstergo and not like, all right, we're going to throw in this crazy-ass company.
This other company. Yeah, no. It's the whole time that you're walking around, if you played all the other games, you're like,
wait a second.
I think they did it very well and intentionally. They made it open world in the office because there's like security clearance cards and it's more modern spy stuff, you know? Because like at a certain point, one of the missions is you gotta get a certain clearance and there's a girl in your ear trying to help you out because she's like, hey, you're on the pirate project, right? Okay, I know who you are. I need you to do this for me. You know, you don't know who you're working for kind of energy.
Okay.
And I think it adds another layer to the story. It was really well done. And I love in the Animus being as Kenway is such a fun spin that you are not an assassin, but you're just bluffing your way through it all. And I love that. I love that.
I love that.
I think it's a good spin on the story.
Exactly. I think it was one of the better written.
Oh yeah, it had a lot more nuance.
Exactly. I think it did break away from the normal writing, but I think it did really well with it.
This is my ass pick.
Okay.
100%. If you couldn't see it coming, Brotherhood is like close to ass.
Yeah, I agree with you. From what I've seen, from what I've played myself, I believe it deserves to be S.
And with the added open world and the theme of just being pirates and shit. If you're not into pirates, no harm, no foul. You can just go and like be a fucking whaler if you want.
Exactly.
Like you can literally just hunt giant sharks and like hunt shit in the world. It
did really well.
Go for the best gear.
Exactly. It did really well, not pinning you down to where you have to do the story to progress in anything.
100%. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right off the gate,
yeah. You feel like you're doing stuff still, with wherever you go, and like the world. There was so much detail to it. Every little sandbar, every little island,
everything
had something on it.
Exactly.
Had a chest, had a song sheet, whatever, any of that stuff, and I think it was phenomenal.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
For me, these next three are kind of all together. I don't have much experience with any of the three of them. I've played a bit of Unity. Liberations came out specifically for mobile, though.
Yeah, that's my memory.
I think that was 3DS.
Yeah, it was like PSP or some crap.
Exactly. It's newer. I think it was DS.
Yeah, I think it was.
I think it was 3DS.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing ads and stuff for playing in 3D mode and this and that.
Oh yeah, the 3DS.
I think it was
something like that.
Yes.
No, yeah.
Rogue, I didn't play. I think I own it, but I haven't played it.
I didn't play.
And Unity, I don't think I've touched. I have it, but I haven't touched it. But I think that was the one where it required you to play online.
Yeah, where you had to be logged in, basically.
Yes, where you couldn't play it offline. So if you had no internet connection, you were boned.
Ubisoft stuff, yeah. I played a little bit of Unity. It's the first Assassin's Creed game that I didn't finish.
That says a lot.
And I think that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
I think it speaks volumes. And I'm not even in like the bandwagon of when it first released and they released it too early and it was super buggy and
Yeah.
everybody hated it because it was super buggy. No, I like waited as soon as I heard that it was all buggy. Waited a few months when they started patching it all up, cleaning it all up, finishing the game while it's already released.
Yeah.
As pretty much everyone does nowadays.
Yeah, nowadays that happens a lot.
And then I bought it.
Yeah.
You know, and I still like. I don't know if it's just because I don't really like the flavor of the era
Okay.
all that much. But honestly, I mean, French Revolution shit,
Yeah.
still pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the problem or the issue. I think
It was
it
the execution.
I think it was execution on it.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I think it just felt so different in at its heart. I think.
Yeah.
I think it just kind of lost something for me.
Yeah.
I can't pinpoint it, but
It stepped too far away from the original.
even if that, maybe, but it just didn't feel the same. It
Okay.
wasn't there. The magic that was there for
Yeah.
all the others,
It wasn't.
It wasn't.
there.
It wasn't.
The spark wasn't there.
Yeah.
So do we want to just lump kind of all of these together and see?
Yeah, these two, Rogue I played a little bit,
Yeah.
but not a lot at all.
Yeah.
And this I heard about, did not
Exactly.
play. It's the first one I just didn't play.
I heard about it
at
more
all.
than I even touched it.
Yeah, so honestly, C's or
I'm
I'd say C for
I'd
Unity,
say
D for these
D
two.
for Liberation for sure.
Yeah.
Rogue.
Rogue,
I don't know.
I think it's kind of interchangeable on either one, honestly.
We'll put it high D, just for the sake of
High D, yeah.
Uh,
That's understandable.
Syndicate. Originally,
Syndicate,
I didn't
yeah.
want anything to do with, right?
Yeah.
But I was doing this project where I needed to, I wanted to look at like like early,
That era.
exactly like late 1800s Europe,
Yeah, like Victorian
Victorian era London.
stuff. Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? I know that's the era this game takes place in. I'll download it and play it. And so I'm playing it. I'm like, you know what? I like this.
Yeah.
I probably didn't play far enough to get out of the Animus if you can get into it, out of it.
Yeah.
But
You weren't out.
the fact that you can play as, instead of not one assassin but two assassins, a set of twins,
Jumping back and forth.
jumping, and
in
each
the
of them
story
specialize
in a different play style.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
Which
think it was
I
cool.
loved.
I think it was cool.
I think that's what sold it on me when I started playing. I'm like, oh, it's got all the normal assassin stuff that I'm used to.
Yeah.
What it brought back from 2 were the burial like things where you could run around and find burials, get a seal, and eventually unlock like the ultimate assassin's armor. or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
That was brought back in this one. I never did any, but I found one.
Hey, there you go.
Honestly, this is one of the newer ones. This is one of my favorites.
I just looks alone because I didn't ever after these.
Yeah, you were a bit weary.
I was at this point I was weary, and when Syndicate came out, Victorian era has never been a really popular era for
Yeah.
me in like any genres. Usually, it's not my favorite, but ultimately, like I honestly, when it came out, I think there was just some better games out there.
I think
that
that's really what
I
it
would have
was.
rather bought.
Exactly.
You know, instead of the gamble with the route that this was going.
Yes.
But with what I've seen now, I mean, I think it's one that I would, now that I'm an adult with my own money,
Get in.
I would probably get it and buy it and play it.
I'm playing through it now, and I've enjoyed what I've played. There hasn't been anything where I'm like, oh, I've got to go do this. I've got to run around. Do
It's
this.
never felt groundy.
Exactly.
Grindy.
It's just relax, run around, and enjoy the world. Because the world setting, the Victorian London, they did so well with the spacing you have, the amount of stuff in the streets,
Yeah.
how you can get around and everything. They did really well with it.
Okay.
I don't want to give it A though.
You think B?
I think B. I haven't beat it, so I don't know where the story goes from where I'm at.
Gotcha.
But I think
Mechanics, look, everything.
B's an okay place for it. I don't think, from what I've played, it steps up to the 3 we have in A.
That okay? Yeah, that's totally valid. That's totally valid. From what I've seen with Syndicate, I think it's interesting that they changed the mechanic. I think they changed the mechanic with like you playing as two assassins, jumping back and forth. they both played mechanically different. I think that was really
That was done really well.
yeah, it looked like it was executed really well. I think it would have been cool to have a co-op option.
Yes, I think that would have been fun.
I think that would have been very interesting to see them do and how they execute it. I think it would have been if executed well, I think it would have probably sold even
exactly.
better.
Not multiplayer, co-op.
Yeah, co-op.
That's
couch
where
play.
Exactly.
Couch
that's
play.
where a lot of stuff comes in
Couch
nowadays.
play.
I want the game multiplayer. Okay, 64
Matchmaking.
people lobby.
Yeah.
Fallout
Matchmaking.
76.
Yeah.
I want a game co-op. I want a game multiplayer. Oh wait, 18 people 32 people in this lobby.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But no, if it would have just been you can play as the other person, I would have probably been playing it more and I already have it beat.
Yeah.
Because
honestly.
like
Playing it with a buddy.
exactly.
Because that's ultimately the heart and soul of any game, really, is to experience it and share it with your friends. Because what do you do after you finish, like, you know, these first 4? When you finish Revelations and you've been invested, what did you do? Go talk to your friends that also played the game.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, oh dude, it was so good,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
good. You know, talk about what you guys did and how you did things, you know, your play styles, whatnot.
Yeah.
And talk about the story. Games are meant, you know,
Exactly.
for social, you know. So, but honestly, I think they changed things in Syndicate to the right degree.
Yeah.
I think they tweaked and changed and experimented about as far as I would want them to experiment, which is leading into why I have never even considered buying any of the newest 3.
So, I've played Odyssey. Of these 2 I have played Odyssey.
Okay.
I haven't played Origins. Origins was the one when it came out.
That
I'm
started.
like, I'm not touching this game.
Yeah.
I'd seen the trailers. I just it didn't. It was much like for you, Unity or whichever one you had only seen the trailer for, and you're like, no.
This one.
Yeah. I was like, I sat there and it didn't scream Assassin's Creed to me.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sitting there watching like all the however many trailers they released. I'm like, this doesn't feel like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care what anyone says. To me, this is an Assassin's Creed. My go-to, without even talking about it, my go-to for this game is D.
Yeah.
Just because I know a lot of people liked it, but it didn't catch my traction.
Honestly, like I was saying, they tweaked on this one as far as I would want them to have tweaked.
And then these ones came
They
along.
completely changed it to a different genre.
Yes, these
And
2
these
I know
mechanically
are mechanically
changing
the
the
same
game.
thing.
Yeah.
They are mechanically the same game. And
Same changes.
They lean away from the typical assassin stuff that is in any of the previous
All of
games.
the others. Yeah.
They make it more of an RPG than what I think it should be.
Yeah.
I don't care about being able to spec my character with the best stats to do Lord only knows what.
To fight this boss. in
Exactly.
this,
I don't want to worry about setting skills, picking out a build for my character. I want to take Hidden Blade, crouch, stab. That's what I want.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can do it in these.
You want to play an assassin.
Exactly.
You want to play an assassin.
Yeah, you can
But
do that in these ones, but
no,
it just does. It's not the same.
Yeah, I don't want to
They-
have to spec for it. I want to start as an
Exactly.
assassin.
They-
Yeah.
My gut is for Origins is D.
Honestly,
I'll give a C if you want it to be C, but my gut's D.
honestly, I was so excited when I saw the trailer that they were making one, and it was Egyptian. And I'm like, fuck yeah, Egypt, cool as hell. Love that shit, man. I'm down bad. I got the fever again. This looks fantastic. I heard some good reports from Syndicate. They're picking it back up. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then I saw someone play it for the first time, like a play tester, you know?
Yeah.
And they're talking about the mechanics before they even release it. And I go, what?
Yeah.
I immediately go all the wind out of my sails. I'm like, what? Because I look and it's like, oh yeah. So every item's gonna be a different stat and do different things.
different rarities
Give you
and
different
stuff.
rarities, so you'll be able to grind and get stuff. All I'm hearing is like, bruh, Why would I buy this game if I could just pay less for a month subscription of World of Warcraft and do the exact same grinding bullshit?
Right.
Right? Like, god damn.
Which I think that was one of the things that drug these games down.
Yeah, they lost. They lost me. I think they lost a large
Yes.
portion of the
The
their fan
original
base.
players, yeah.
Yeah. D. I'm
Okay.
down for D. I would on my feeling D for this one as well. But you've actually played this.
If I haven't played it, I would have gone with D. But I love the Greek mythology and the fact that this actually takes place in ancient Greece. I have put maybe almost a
You
day's
love
worth
the
of
theme
time.
and the setting.
What I think threw me off was obviously I hadn't played Origins, so I didn't know the way they were going with their story. And at the time, I had also not played Revelation, Syndicate. I haven't played since Black Flag. So I come in, and I'm like, all right, who am I playing as before I go to the Animus?
Yeah.
None of that's touched on, at least as far as I've played.
Yeah.
But it just
From the
starts to. I love the graphics. They were done phenomenally well, and I'm sure with Origins they were done just as well.
Yeah.
But like the feeling of Odyssey, it felt populated much like Black Flag. It felt alive, not empty or barren. Everything had a purpose on it.
Yeah.
What I think really threw me off was the monsters you would run into. They implemented a bunch of Greek mythology monsters as actual creatures that had been alive. So one of the bosses I ended up fighting was a Cyclops. It's like, the fuck is this? They had completely walked away from the games being semi-historically accurate to this, hey, we're making it really RPG heavy now. Your character has you actually get to choose your text options now, and you get to have a build.
Wow.
I loved the game, but as for like story wise, it's not an Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, they should have just not put the title on these two.
Yeah, exactly. I want this one to be C though. It was good. I just don't think it could set up to being with the ones we have in B as an Assassin's Creed game.
Okay. See, you brought up a very good point that I completely fucking forgot about. They threw in mythos to be real and like concrete in the world in these last three, even Valhalla. Honestly, when they started doing that, and I realized that like was like the final nail in the coffin for me, to like never pick these up.
Yes.
And I love MMORPGs. I'm fine with that, but it's just not Assassin's Creed anymore.
Right?
Like looking at where we started and as it went along, it's just they're not the same franchise.
That's what I'm saying. It didn't feel like an Assassin's Creed game.
If they wanted to do something like this, and I feel like there's no in right mind, right, that the same teams that did these, or even these, were the guys that did these.
Yes, for sure.
I think there was some producer change, some team change, whatever, creative, ideal, whatever. Honestly, if they wanted to add all this change and try a different style and genre,
a whole entirely different game.
They honestly should have.
I think they could have.
They should have, and not even put Assassin's Creed on it to make all the people that have played and been fans for the franchise all the way through here the hope and the idea.
Yeah.
And what the disposition, because you're coming in with all of this knowledge when you're playing.
It completely changes what Assassin's Creed 1 was.
Yes.
But as a standalone game, yes,
by itself,
it is not an Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah. If you take that out,
I give it a C.
It's a good game.
I am giving it a C. That is the highest I will go with this game, with the title being Assassin's Creed.
Okay. Would you die on Sea Hill for Odyssey? Is that what you mean by C?
Yeah, I think this is where I want this to be C. I don't think it deserves D.
Not even highest D.
No.
You think it?
I think
hits
the game,
that mark.
I think the game was good.
Okay.
For what it was good. It obviously wasn't an Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
But for what it had.
But you didn't as soon as you put that idea aside.
Yeah.
You played it for what it was.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I played the first like hour after the title screen, the titular title screen, and everyone's like, oh yeah. I played for like a whole day's time, so 24 hours maybe into this game. And setting aside that this isn't an Assassin's Creed game anymore, it's a ancient Greek RPG.
Yeah, ancient Greek themed RPG.
It was great.
Okay.
And I think they did well with what they did.
Okay.
Just not Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. I think Valhalla being in the
think-
same vein as these two.
Exactly. I don't think it should go higher than any
C.
of those two. Yeah.
C. Yeah, I would put it C.
I've
Just
heard a
because
lot
of
of people
how,
like it.
because like it's the third out of these three.
Yeah.
And I heard that people that enjoyed these three that played Valhalla
Really loved
They loved Valhalla because they, like we were talking about earlier with how video games work, people learn from their mistakes.
Exactly.
And
But
try
I
their best to be
think
better off of it.
one thing that I've steered away from getting Valhalla is the vibe that it gives off. I've heard it's too open world.
Too open world. Okay.
Yeah, like there's too much time you have to spend
You get
doing
lost.
stuff.
Oh, there's too much to manage.
Yes. I think
okay.
that's one of the things I've heard a lot
A
about.
downside.
So I'm okay with it going C.
Okay. I think C just because of what I've heard from others.
Yeah.
Honestly, with these three being completely different, this idea of honestly, if I just put it out of my mind that it's not even in the world of Assassin's Creed, and it's just their own standalone games,
Yep.
I would probably have played them.
Yeah.
If they would have gone Odyssey,
Yeah, exactly.
If
Or
they
like
would've
giving it
gone
a new
Origins,
titular title.
you know,
Like before Origins, like I could have even given them like, I would have taken like them dubbing it like Mythos Odyssey, Mythos Origins, Mythos Valhalla.
yeah, some shit like that.
It's not Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it's not.
They walk
it
away
just
from it.
doesn't feel that way at all.
I think Revelations was the last good Assassin's Creed game they made.
That Revelation.
Syndicate. My bad. I
Oh,
keep
okay, I
getting
was
those two
about
mixed
to
up. I keep
I was
getting
like,
those-
that's far back, bro.
I keep getting the two mixed
No,
up.
no. I honestly, I think I need to play Syndicate. With what you've been saying and what I've seen on it, I think it was like a last breath.
Yeah.
For the franchise before
Before this.
whatever.
Before this.
these happened. Yeah. But yeah, this is our rankings.
If
I'm
you-
happy with this.
Yeah, I'm okay with this. If you guys disagree and think any of the ones in C and D should be in like S tier, leave it in the comments.
We'll fight you.
We will fight you.
I have a knife.
He has a knife. Can confirm he's got a knife and he's holding it to my throat. he's threatening me to end the video, so we'll see you in the next one.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.